Hello, everyone. Welcome to Colourisma. I'm Shar, and we're, as always, doing something a little different today. I set up my iPad. Wow, the Southern really came out today. My iPad over here, and I'm going to draw on the screen while also sometimes remembering to actually look at the webcam up here. So, yeah, today I'm going to be doing another Animorphs alien. And it took me a minute to remember what the last one was. And I was like, oh, yeah, the one with all the unusual anatomy and everything. Let me look and see which one I have assigned myself today. And it's another one with very unusual anatomy. It's a theme, I guess. We're just, going to lean into the challenge and see what happens. I'd love to hear what everyone is working on today. So whether you are joining me live or if you are watching this later on replay and you decided to draw with me for an hour, then let me know what you're working on. I'm curious to know. All right, so today's alien. It's one I've somewhat been dreading and also have been wanting to kind of take a crack at designing pretty much since I read the book in 1997, something like that. I think I've tried to draw them before, and it was a challenge, to say the least. I'll go ahead and read the description, and if you're feeling brave and you want to draw along with me and come up with your own idea what this creature looks like, then I'd also be interested in what your interpretation is. So today's creature is a Mortron. It is an alien creature that it actually is two creatures in one. A yellow one with black spots on the bottom half with 4 wheels. That's the thing. It's biologically has wheels. That's the thing that I've been thinking about on and off for well over 2 decades on how that would work. And the other creature of these two is a dark red top half, which appears to be an elongated, sharp head until the creature separates, revealing it has leathery wings. So it's got like hidden wings, some kind of leathery, weird pterodactyl head. These two parts can separate, move fast on the ground, and attack in unison from above with sharp beaks. So they also have beaks. They are also regenerative. If one Mortron is cut in half, 2 new ones are formed out of the 2 pieces. That's horrifying. They come from a world that was later destroyed when its sun went nova. Maybe for the best. Oh, that's mean. Poor Mortrons. They're just trying to live. They're just trying to do their thing. Attacking in unison, as they do. All right, so I haven't done this setup before, so there may be a little bit of an adjustment period. I do want a better tripod situation. Right now, I just have a literal little tiny tripod here, and it's just kind of in the way. And, ooh, there goes my phone. Hopefully the sound is working too. I'm not sure. The problem with this setup, I discovered very quickly after trying to get it set up for the first time, was that I don't know if it's my particular iPhone or just this would be a challenge with any iPhone, but it wouldn't completely mute. So I'm in here twice as myself. I have my iPad station here and then me on the other side. And my phone wouldn't completely mute. So I could kind of hear myself a little bit. And then I was worried about the echoing. That happened right away before I got the headphones in. And yeah, it's a whole thing. Technology and me, I love it, but it does not like me. But yeah, so all right, making sure everything is as good as it can be. And yeah, so let's see. I just want to make sure like I'm not like hiding. Gotta love these wired headphones so you can catch yourself on it. It's always fun. All right. So this creature has, so do they both have eyes? Is one kind of blind and like telepathically linked to another one? This thing definitely like seared its little weird self into my mind's eye the moment I read about it. And it was from the book called The Andalite Chronicles. And oh boy, was that book an adventure. It's my favorite book out of the whole entire Animorphs series, starring my favorite character of the whole entire series. Sorry, Cassie. Cassie's like my favorite Animorph, but Elfangor is my favorite. Or Elfangor, as I called him my entire life until I heard people actually say Elfangor, and I was like, that's probably more technically accurate. I just shortened it real tightened it up there and just Elfangor. Yeah, that works. But yeah, actually, one of the things I've been noticing while drawing on all these creatures on the iPad lately is that it's actually better, at least to form the aspect of, I'll have to look at a bat anatomy to see how they keep their wings folded. But it's kind of a little better to draw smaller. So I have a tendency to want to take up the whole canvas. That's my card art background that I used to do fantasy card art, and they love like full, like for you to take up the full canvas and have like a really intense, super odd, like really dramatic angle in the art. And actually that's what I did with the last one. I can share real quick because I'm like 3 and I want to share my artwork. So here was a departure of the way I had been doing the Animorphs aliens, which was showing the whole entire body and kind of like still trying to do a cool pose, but like really trying to get like the overall scale of the creature. And this one I just went full in. You can't really get a good idea of what the whole entire creature looks like, but I think this pose looks pretty cool. So I kind of sacrificed you seeing the whole creature for cool points. Some people call that artistic license. I call it cool points. So always fun. But yeah, let's try to get this creature on here. So they said leathery wings, which always make me think of bat wings. And the way bat wings is, there is a shoulder, upper arm, elbow, lower arm, and then they have a little hand just like we do, and then they have the exact same configuration of joints and fingers as us. And when they say, you know, leathery wing, that's what that makes me think of. So this would be a little finger. But you can't see, you can't really tell that he has wings until he separates from his little friend. So, this is going to be a challenge, just like last week. Most of the creatures I had been doing, I found it was, the challenge was more of, well, that didn't work. Go back. The challenge was more in the way of making it look interesting and making it dynamic, and not so much the anatomy. This is kind of the kind of with the last creature I did, and then this one now, the challenge is just to figure out what does it even look like, because I don't know. I some reason kind of like imagined the bottom part to be this like square shape, which is ridiculous for a living creature. I mean, unless you're SpongeBob. There's not too many terrestrial square-shaped animals, and none with wheels. That is definitely not something that is very common in the natural world. And I'm trying to figure out this wheel situation. Like, how is it going to rotate? Like, maybe like that? And then it's got to freely rotate like over and over again. How does that work anatomy wise? there's no way. I kind of like this circle thing I got going here. I think that they weren't perfectly, if I remember, I just have a small short description I'm going off of here, but I liked this book a lot, so I read it many times. And I think I remember that they weren't, the little wheel things on them were not perfectly circular. So if I'm not even going to try to like get a perfect circle going here. Just trying to, I don't want it super oblong. But I am confused on the part of, would it attach at the shoulder? Oh boy. Such a challenge. I've also discovered that with my particular setup, this is not an Apple Pencil. I don't know if you're familiar with Apple products or the pencil. This is a $25 stylus I got. There are so many. I'm sure they're all the same. It literally just says stylus pen on the box. I still have the box over there. So as you can tell, it's not like super in depth or, a very known name brand of stylus pen. It's just a generic one. But let's actually move this over some. Nope. There we go. So the interesting thing with this pen is that there is no, as far as I can tell, pressure sensitivity. It was $25, so it's not something I expected out of getting it. I just wanted something a little bit better than the other stylus that I had, which was those like dollar ones you get from like the grocery store or whatever. So if you're watching along today, what are you working on? I'm curious. I love watching YouTube videos while I draw. I have to be in the right kind of mood, but when I do listen to YouTube videos, I'm almost always drawing. I'm gonna not worry about the way, this very specific way that these wheels are going to attach to the body, and not think about like tendons just curling and curling. Don't know how that would work. My mind is breaking slightly as we speak, trying to think of it. Part of me wants to think of like maybe it tightens, right? Like it twirls up the tendon as the wheel is spinning, right? Well, that actually worked with the way like I can rotate my hand like this in a motion, and my wrist isn't like twirling on itself. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's more just like a I don't know. We'll keep thinking about that on the stream. I think that whatever I can come up with, biologically speaking, to make this sort of work, the attachment kind of thing on the body is got to be really short, because that's a lot of torque to, even if it's something that's like a little paddle that's like around like a wheel shaped paddle foot, you can't like have it all the way extended. That would just be too energy consuming. So it would have to be kind of tied up close to the body, and then just kind of, it's like a little fish swimming. Have you seen the little puffer fish and the way they swim with their little fins? Are so cute. Sorry, not drawing puffer fish today, but I just thought of them and it made me laugh because they are so cute. In case you're not aware, I am a giant animal nerd. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Like a double flipper arrangement. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it. I kind of thought that each little, I guess you would call these toes. Um, each half circle would be a toe, but maybe, well, let's just keep it like that. I'm also very aware, or try to be aware, of a few things while I'm drawing creatures, and especially while I'm drawing them live. I try to be aware of both like general cultural symbolic symbols, symbolic symbols, um, and you just when you start getting into like X shapes and then little things that curl around an X shape, you just want to kind of stay away from that. So I'm just going to keep it at 2. I thought maybe if each little, and this is the problem, I'm thinking biologically speaking. The first thing I think of is like, how would it work with anatomy? And I'm like, oh, well, a lot of creatures have 4 digits. So, each one could, I hope you guys get where I'm going with this, because like it's slightly problematic to have like a circle. Yeah. Anyway, slightly problematic, very problematic. But yeah, trying not to do stuff like that. Trying to watch out for weird anatomy things that are inappropriate as well. I did that with the last creature, actually. I probably could have just kept this to myself, but no, I find it funnier to share it. So the creature was made to look like it was walking backward, even if it was walking forward. And I decided to add a tail, but and it makes sense as a tail. And the whole time I was drawing it, I saw a tail. And then I was like, but the creature looks like it's moving forward. And then the tail didn't look like a tail. It looked like a front bit. And it was just, it's like, oh no, let's erase this. So you just gotta be careful, because again, I'm thinking anatomy, and I'm thinking not what are people going to perceive, but what I am perceiving in my own head, and what I am intentionally, like, what is my intention in this piece. And I am just seeing it that way. And I have to take like a step back every now and then and just kind of look at it as a whole. And I'm like, what's problematic possibly about this piece? Like, what doesn't look good or whatever? And that one kind of jumped out at me. And I was like, oh dear, let's not keep this design. And actually, I was recording the whole screen process where I added that little bit, shall we say, and I had to erase that for the work in progress video that I uploaded. I was like, let's not even show this part, because that'll get me demonetized fast. Oh, wow. So you're working on a clown. That's, I mean, for like the Drawloween, that's definitely, it could be creepy, especially, with the creepy clown aesthetic. Let's see. No, we're gonna keep it all really short and contained. I thought for a moment of doing like a shoulder joint, shoulder, elbow, or elbow. This is my shoulder. I know anatomy. Shoulder, elbow. God, I did it again. Shoulder, like blade, and then shoulder. That's what was messing me up. I'm like I'm thinking of my shoulder blade, but I'm saying shoulder. So I'm like, what's the next thing? Oh yeah, that's an elbow. That's how that anatomy works. Anyway, I'll just draw I'll stop talking now. See, I was thinking of a shoulder, and then the upper arm, and then the lower arm, and then this all being like the wrist thing. But it's like, first off, it's just visually confusing. It's just too much going on behind these interesting looking wheels. And that is another consideration I take into consideration. My mind is just stuck on words today. But I do also think a lot about the overall look of something. I think about what does it look cluttered? Does it make sense? This creature, it's just not going to make sense, but you got to make it make sense. That's my job here. Okay, let's try that again. This is not the most responsive. Okay, thought I had this selected. Okay. This is not the most responsive stylus ever. And also, I'm still sort of learning Procreate as an app. I've had it for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. But because I never had a great stylus with it, I have had all manner of stylus. This is an iPad 4. So this is not an iPad Pro. This is not an iPad Air. This is from 2014. So it still works. And I have trouble giving things up that still work, technology-wise. I don't love this whole disposable nature that we have. I'm gonna sound like Cassie and to get into an ecological rant here, but I definitely would prefer it more if they just put the best, and I think they do to some extent, but I feel like if there was less emphasis on upgrading the hardware, like just put the best thing that can stay the best for like 5 years, and then like keep upgrading the software to like maximize the potential of that hardware. It feels like it would be less wasteful. Okay. Yellow with black spots, bottom half, and 4 wheels. That's actually not very descriptive. So I was just like, in my mind, I just imagined like a square, like a car, like kind of a biological square. I can't remember if these were the ones that, I wish the description were a little better on this wiki page, but I didn't have time to research. Let me rephrase. I didn't give myself time to research before this stream today. I tried. I had fewer problems than I did last week before the stream, but I still managed to run myself right into 2:30, 2:45, and I still hadn't had everything set up yet. That is just how I roll. But I am really happy with these draw with me's. I've been thinking about it, and the thing I kept trying to do is make everything so different and complicated. And when I would do that, I found it interesting, but unfortunately, it made everything before doing one of these streams very, very complicated. And in that process, it made it so I had to give myself more and more time, like 2 hours before the stream, I had to start getting everything ready. And I'm not great at scheduling ahead. Like, I know you can schedule posts and stuff, but I can do it for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and then it just falls apart again. As is life. But I think the easiest thing is to work with the way things work for you, instead of trying to always fight against it. So what I'm thinking here is, what if it's 2 creatures, right? But what if the top half rests like its little head on top of the head of the bottom half, and they both have like a mouth thing. They're not like, it's like a symbiosis, so they like rest into each other, so it's like, and the anatomy conforms to one another, but it's not like attached. It's not like biologically attached. And this is just kind of the exploratory pose that I'm working on now with these. And you'll see, like, when we do the playback on any of these that I've designed so far on the Procreate, I do like a pose like this, where I'm just trying to work out the anatomy. I'm just trying to figure out what even is this thing? And what kind of like shape does it take? Does it have sharp, elongated head? Okay. The red. Again, that was like kind of similar to the last one I did that had like this triangle head thing. I'm noticing, like, in my mind, in like the kind of the sphere of everything Animorphs, and just kind of collecting the whole entire series in my head, and then letting it sit there and marinate for a couple decades, and not really going back and really trying to visualize every single one of these things. I'm just seeing a lot of similarities. I think I mentioned that in the last stream as well, but I'm just seeing a lot of similarities in the way that these were described and designed. And a lot of like triangular faces and big webbed feet, and just like they're totally separate, different aliens, but noticing that a lot of the descriptions are very similar. And it makes sense. I mean, in a way, it's good because it provides a sort of cohesive look and feel for the series, right? Because they're going to have some similarities, even though that they're just separate species from different planets. But designing it, that's again the challenge, right? Like, you got to make it look like it's from a different planet, but also make it all look like it's part of the same world, universe, all that, even when you're dealing with different worlds and different universes. You have to make it all look Animorphs, whatever that is going to be for you. I guess to talk, I'm trying not to like script out stuff anymore for these, because that just got to be too stressful to sit here and just like stare at the camera and deliberately have like a very focused discussion to you. But I did write something down, and something I learned this week, not learned exactly, but like kind of came to pass, and really, especially yesterday, was shown to me. And I thought about the situation, which I'll explain here in a second, but and then how also I'm feeling about that same situation in regards to my art. I feel like they're very closely tied. So the situation, and I think I talked about this last week too, sorry, I just keep having the same issues over and over. But the situation that I had was that I keep having these gnats. And it was, suggested that maybe they're living in the drain. And I had done some kind of like drain thing. You can put some baking, and I checked. I tried to make sure. I'm very nervous about doing things that might mess something up, because I cannot afford to mess things up. So I checked, and it was a very safe procedure, even though it sounded like maybe it wouldn't be. But baking soda and then vinegar, and then you kind of like let that marinate. You're supposed to let it marinate overnight, but again, I was so nervous, I just wanted to be like right there watching it. And then you're supposed to let it sit overnight and then run boiling hot water down the drain in the morning. And I never quite did it the way you're supposed to, because I was so nervous about it. So I still may or may not have these gnats potentially coming out of the drain. The thing is, I have like these little drain things, but it's got wire mesh, but I guess the mesh is still big enough to let like adult little gnats get through. And so I was looking around, and I was thinking about just taping up, like, even though it would be annoying to take the tape up and off every time I needed to use the sink, I was like, I would just tape over the I was going to call it a port. My brain is just like, no, today you cannot have this word. The sink hole. Drain. Thank you, brain. Drain. The sink drain. Just tape it up, and then go ahead and do that. So then my brain, wow. I'm getting too meta. I'm thinking about what I just said and how I messed it up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I didn't do that. I thought, well, you know what would be better is if I had like a rubber stopper and I just like stopped it so that I could just take it out real quick when I need to use the sink, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then I thought about, where am I going to get one? I have one. It's right over, it's for the bathroom tub, but whatever, you rinse it off, clean it up, it's fine. And I didn't really use it when I was taking a shower, so whatever. But yeah, so I stopped it up. I noticed a significant decrease. This is all leading to something, I promise. So I noticed a significant decrease in the gnats, and I was like, oh wow, it really must have been that they're in the sink drain, and I just need to do another treatment, and then they should be, you know, gone, and it'll be great. And I think it was a couple weeks ago, I keep the sink drain plugged up for that reason. So if there are gnats in there, they don't come out. And I woke up one day to dripping sound, which always concerns me because water RV, you do not want, no. So I woke up from a dead sleep and I'm looking around trying to figure out where is that noise coming from. I look over to the sink and it's like got this much water. It's not a big sink and it's got like this much standing water in it. And, you know, the sink is just kind of dripping at a regular pace. It must have been dripping all night. So I was like, oh, well, that's scary. If I wasn't here or any number of reasons why I just kept sleeping, I didn't hear it. It could have overflowed, and there's no like, it's not like a residential sink where there's that little drain hole. There's nothing like that in an RV. So if it spilled out, it would just make a giant mess and whatever. So that kind of startled me. So just draining, like plugging up all the drains without leaving any kind of room for error like that concerned me. So I didn't want to just like keep all of the drains plugged all the time when I wasn't here for like going to work or whatever. And so I just didn't do it. I didn't completely finish the task. I didn't go back and do like a very thorough overnight with the boiling water and the vinegar and the baking soda thing. I didn't do that. And then I didn't leave it plugged. I was so convinced that no, they can't be getting through that mesh. It's so small. Adult flies can't be getting through. And so yesterday I just left. I didn't do the drain plug thing again, and I just left the strainer in. And then I was getting like these adult gnats, like they're really fruit flies is what they are. But I was getting them like crazy. Like I hadn't gotten in like a week. And I was so annoyed. And I was like, why isn't this working? I'm so annoyed about this. Blah. So annoyed. And funny enough, I'm taking too long. This story is really getting dragged out. I'm sorry. I need to work on my storytelling skills. But the point is that I knew what the solution was. I knew how to fix it. And through some, I think, legitimate fear of like potentially causing another bigger mess, I just didn't do the thing I needed to. And how does this relate to art? Well, I was thinking about it and I was like, well, I do this a lot in my art too. I know the things I need to do to succeed. I know the things that I need to work on or promote, or the fact I need to promote it at all. I need to do all of these things. And there's so many times when I just don't do them, but I'm still annoyed at the results that I end up getting. I think that's the important thing, is like, I'm not doing the work, but I'm annoyed at the results. And I think I think that a lot of us do that, right? Like a lot of us get very upset and annoyed at the fact that things aren't working out the way we want. And we know there's a certain amount of work that we need to do. And we're doing some of that work. It's not like we're not doing anything. So it feels, for me anyway, it feels like I'm being productive. It feels like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm kind of like taking a scattershot approach. I'm not like being focused. I'm not being intentional. I'm not being deliberate. And because of that, I'm getting scattershot results. And then I'm not pleased with those results. And obviously this affects me in every aspect of my life. between Nats and my career. And I don't know, it's just like a big realization, like just yesterday. And I was like, yeah, I keep doing that. Stop. So long story short, I apologize. That story was so long. Come on, bud. Oh, my pen also turns off. Can you see? Is it gonna? Oh, is it not? Oh, it did the thing I was afraid of. Oh, it died. I used this pen for like 4 hours drawing last night, and it was fine. And now I've got to do the backup. It's rechargeable. You got to charge it. And it's got actually a pretty long life on it. I'd say between 8 hours solid of drawing. I wouldn't know about that part. It's been a minute since I've dealt with a relationship, but I can believe it. And also, though, that's not, strictly true. Anything is a relationship. You can have a relationship with any other living or even non-living creature. You can have a relationship with a plant. It's probably largely one-sided, but I always try to remember that. But oh, this is fun. It makes a nice squeaking sound. So this pen has a nice feature. Where can you see? There we go. And it's got this regular cap. Sorry, this isn't like a product placement. This is just my life. Okay. Speaking of my life, you can't have this hair without it getting everywhere. But it comes with like a regular standard cap. I apologize. Maybe this is a better way to show it. Regular standard cap. And then it also comes with this other one, which is really hard to demonstrate. But it's got like, I don't know what kind, metal top, whatever thing. The bad thing is that these little this metal part kind of flakes off. So don't like stick it in your mouth, because I have noticed it flaking off onto the screen and stuff. So if you get this pen, do not like sit there and like put it on your mouth, because it'll probably get some, like, I don't know if it's made out of aluminum or what, but you don't want to eat that. But you can also, like, when it does die, it doesn't really affect anything. You don't get that super fine tip anymore, but yeah, I could still draw. I can finish the rest of this stream anyway. But yeah, sorry, random departure. Oh boy. And then I got 20% left on my phone, and I did not do super low. Actually, I think I need to leave it the way it is. I kind of default to not doing the low battery. Like, hey, this is low battery. Do you want to put it in power mode, like low power mode? I always say no. Don't do that. Right. Yeah, exactly. And just from what I was saying earlier, relationship, you mean, just for those listening, the comment was relationships kind of work that way too. And as far as I was saying about you're trying to do something, put some work in, but maybe not the correct kind of work, but you're annoyed by the results. And then, relationships kind of work that way too. My mind, even though I know that doesn't necessarily mean romantic relationship, but that's where my mind goes first whenever I hear that word relationship. So I just have to always like do like a little reminder and be like, no, it doesn't always mean that. You can have a relationship with anything. I have a relationship with this iPad and the stylus that I'm holding, and it's not a complicated relationship. They're just tools, but So for this design, I'm trying to make it look really fast. So I'm doing like these really sharp angled things here. So I don't recall what the eyes look like, so I'm just going to kind of make them beady and small. Not mechanical looking. I'm going to try to avoid that. I also think it's I think the way we draw creatures very, very largely reflects the way we think about these creatures. And it is difficult for me to draw creatures scary, because even creatures I'm kind of scared of, like bees and stuff, it's like I'm scared viscerally, but I'm not scared logically. So when I use my logical brain to recreate the creature through a drawing, I don't find them scary to look at. So when I draw them, I think some of the like admiration that I have for them as just like another living being kind of comes through the drawing. Like, look at that. That's not even a scary eye. Like, that's not even a scary creature eye. But I think people who are nervous about creatures, nervous about certain animals, it's more easy for them to kind of add these subtle elements. It's something I've been noticing anyway, through different, I follow a lot of creature designers, of course I do. And one of the things I kind of noticed was that I can kind of tell what their relationship is with the creature that they're depicting based on how they depict it. If it's very, very realistic and almost too perfect, then I know that they probably have a lot of respect for the creature. And I'm talking about real creatures, not like mythological ones. But I feel like if it's very, very realistic, very naturalistic in the sense of like very anatomically accurate, without a lot of like anthropomorphization or like expression, it's just like, boom, there's the creature. You can look at it and you don't get like a lot of emotion from it, but you can get like awe from it because of how intricately the creature is depicted and how like nice. You can see the respect and the awe that went into the piece, and that's how I feel like they feel toward that creature. When I draw a dog, I draw a giant goofball because that's how I see them. When I draw a horse, I draw a giant goofball. Even when I'm trying to do realistic style, the goofball comes out a little bit in the eye, a little bit in the expression of the ear, the pose. Even if I'm drawing realistic, these things will come out in the drawing, and you can see it. And I challenge you, if you are watching and you do like to see creature art, check out the way these things are depicted. There's a few artists I follow, and I just love the way they draw because they draw everything super cute. And I also find a lot of creatures super cute. So it's super appealing to me, not just the cuteness factor, but because they are depicting these creatures that may be scary to other people. I didn't take a breath there. You got to actually breathe when you talk. I'm so excited. But yeah, so when I see these creatures that are sometimes people find scary, but I see them depicted so cute, I'm like, ah, yes, a fellow person who finds these creatures adorable like I do. And this is a challenge for, like, I would imagine a creature designer to not put too much of their personal feelings into a creature design, or be very, very conscientious of the fact that they need to maybe put their feelings aside and kind of like amplify these like scary attributes of these or whatever feeling you want to get from the creature design. So I'm gonna draw an eye up there, and then like a little subtle eye that you don't notice as much down here. And going to say that both of them, so I don't necessarily want the eye attached to the mouth, but I was kind of just drawing the through line because I do want them to like line up. There we go. There will be a creature at the end of this episode. There will be something here on the screen that wasn't before. And when I am doing the final on this, these like features are going to be really subtle. I'm not going to play them up very much. Yeah, that looks like it's all part of one creature. So draw the neck there. And then, oh boy. I'm still wanting to put anatomy in here. I'm like, I can't just draw a stump. I can't just draw from like the chest, clavicle, neck area to like a stump leg. I don't want to do that. I need to draw like a shoulder and something that makes some kind of biological sense. I can maybe fit it all in here, like cram it all in. Let's see. Elbow. Oh man, I just had a mental image of what one of these might look like if it was just relaxing and it stretched. Like maybe it keeps its little arm like super tight all the time, and then when it stretches its little silly, see, this is why I just find everything cute. And then it stretches its silly little circle leg all the way out. Oh, that would be so cute. Why do I find everything adorable? Like these things that are scary. Speaking of Nat, yeah, I was just talking about you. Go away for a minute. I said go away, not in my face. They don't listen very well. They are not good pets. Okay, so that goes up like that to that. I gotta make, like, it's gotta be a robust arm though. It can't be like this little, I'm trying to make it all fit and be like in a tight coil, but it's also gotta be substantial. But I'm also trying to like hide it behind the wheel. So it looks like a gear almost, trying to fool the eye at a quick glance to make it look like it's mechanical when really it's all biological. Nope, that's gotta go like this. Can't say I don't put thought into this anyway. Yeah, let's do like a little, there we go, like a knuckle joint here. Oh wow. Could you imagine if your fingers were like round like this? How weird would that be? The things I think about while I'm drawing. Oh yeah, and just to show like it's actually like a creature, I'm gonna do like little claws here at the end, just to like remind the viewer, if they decide to look closer, that this is a creature. Like this is not just some kind of weird mechanically fused thing. It's all like muscles and tendons, and even though it's super odd, it's, in my mind, it's still have to make it make sense. I'm having trouble with this shoulder, so just make it bigger. That's what I gotta do. I can't wait to color this because the spots, I think I might go with like smallish sort of cheetah spots, or I might just do something like ridiculous, like polka dot spots that don't even, Okay, so then the leg. See, this is why I was trying to hide all the anatomy underneath the form, because it's getting confusing. Like, it's getting visually confusing when I try to bring it up and outside, even though that makes sense. I might still keep it though. There's a way I can just make it recede into the background so it's not so noticeable. So I'm gonna have to make this the wrist joint. So then it's doing a little circle, paddle circle thing. Ah, interesting. It's gonna have 2 toes. Like a sloth, like a 2-toed sloth. That is what people are gonna look at this and think immediately. Ah, I thought you used a sloth for reference. I could tell by the 2 toes. That's the other thing. I can just kind of, there we go. Still a little confusing. I'll just have to keep playing around. There we go. Partly I can see what I'm about to do, like 2 steps ahead from what I'm actually depicting. So when I say there I go, I wonder if it really matches up to what you're actually seeing. Probably not. All right. Well, I think I did it. I think I made something that doesn't work in my mind actually work in some kind of visual way. Oh, I don't want that to touch. Back, there we go. I'm also learning the shortcuts. So I am stuck on this iPad at iOS 10. And if you are not an iOS person, it's up to 14 now. So I'm quite a bit behind. And I really respect Procreate for being this backwards compatible. There are so many apps I'd like to try that I can't because it needs like at least iOS 12. And I do appreciate that I can still use this app, even though Procreate did just come out with like version 5 or something, 5X, whatever they wanted to call it. And let's tuck that wing underneath this arm here. I don't know what version this is. I can't figure out how to tell. I've looked at many different settings and I can't figure out which Procreate version this is, but I can tell that it definitely doesn't have all the functionality of the latest version. Like when I go to my layers and then I go to like I don't have, like, this is old style. I've got rename, select, copy, fill, clear, and reference. In the new version, I've seen enough videos and tutorials that I know, ooh, that's too big. Go back. There we go. I know now that there's like way more levels and different kind of things that you can do. You can do like clip masks and all that kind of stuff. So still making this like a creature. I'm going to do like a rib cage here. I'm not going to leave in this. This is just anatomy practice. This isn't how I'm going to leave him all ribby and such. He's had a meal. Oh, and now the back legs. Ooh, this is going to be challenging. So it's got to make sense. It's got to be like the same sort of thing. Ooh, my mind is like, I could make the front part make sense. And now my mind is like, oh, I'm tapping out for this last half. Okay, got a few more minutes. So this creature is called a Mortron. It is another Animorphs alien. and it is very interesting. It's a biological creature with wheels, and that was tricky to figure out. So, and I'm still kind of in the process of figuring it out. I got the front. I feel like the front legs work. It's interesting. We'll leave it to someone else to decide if I was successful, but I still might play around with the design a little. I try to leave these at like 2 hours for these daily challenges, because I will, if I let myself, I will sit here and work on them for like an entire day and get nothing else done. And I have like a comic that I do, and I'm working on some animations and lots of other stuff. So I can't just sit around and just draw Mortrons all day long and design them. At least not without getting paid. Haha. Anybody wants to hire me to draw Animorphs aliens? Just putting that out there. And this is just like my first pass at it. I could sit around and just work out different ways I can make this anatomy work. So front, back. So that would be like the hocks. Oh, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this whole entire rump section the back leg. Oh, how am I going to make it work? There we go. So you can't tell because it's tucked up under the wing there, but I'll draw through the creature. So actually, I'll just do a new layer, and I'll use red so you can kind of maybe darker red. There we go. And I will use a paintbrush real quick. Oh, nope, not that. There we go. There. Huh. What? There we go. Okay. So here's like the back leg, and then I'm thinking like the haunch, knee, back, not haunch, hock, and then comes through, and then yeah, that's a lot of circling back on itself. That's kind of confusing. Maybe I'll pick a different way to figure that out. With that said, I think I'll have to figure that out on my own, because we are out of time on today's Colourisma episode. Also, like maybe an animal drawing anatomy thing. I don't know. Maybe that's what these are going to turn into. But I'll do one more thing. I will. I'll do a quick color for this creature. Make this multiply layer. There we go. Boop. Here. Am I on the right layer? Okay. Gotta love it. That momentary level of panic, wondering if you're on the correct layer or not. There we go. And then I always imagine this like super bright yellow for the bottom. And I might change it so like the little mouths are open. but then it kind of destroys like the fact that at a first glance, it may not destroy it that much. I don't know. I kind of want to leave it at the idea of like you don't realize that this is two different creatures at first. And then I was thinking for the spots to just do like these like big polka dots, like kind of silly and random. And if this thing wasn't so dangerous, it would almost be funny. Maybe it might become smaller, but there is the creature for now. I'll kind of zoom in so you can see. I'll do like a little, let's see, yellow, red, let's do blue eye. So just on the different end of the spectrum there. I may not keep it blue in the final bit. There. Okay. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining me if you were able to pop in during the stream. One day I'll be better about like advertising this, so we could get like a whole group of us all drawing here for an hour once a week on the weeks that I'm not doing an interview anyway. I really appreciate everyone here, like I just said. Even if you're watching this in the future. Let me know in the comments what you were working on while we were drawing today. And also, if you are interested in seeing Colourisma grow and you want to join our community, you can see my hands here on the iPad where I rest them. Anyway, then join our Discord. We are on Discord. I will put the link in the bio / description, whatever they call it here on YouTube. And then also there is a Patreon if you're interested in that. It's patreon.com/Colourisma. So I think that's everything for the end of show stuff I'm supposed to say. So I'm going to get out of here and get some more work done on this little creature here. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.